I had a real life once. A job, a car, a girlfriend. Together we drove to a cabin in the mountains. An archaeologist had come to this remote place to translate and study his latest find, Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead. It was never meant for the world of the living. The book awoke something dark in the woods.
Hello everyone, this is Associate Professor Gan Snowy, Department of Gaming. I'm going to talk to you about this video about Warrior Ash. I currently just P5'd him, and I'm going to talk about is it worth it to get him to the 5th Prestige, and different builds, and just the Warrior Ash memes and misconceptions. So first, let's talk about Wise Man Potion. This is increased at P5, so your damage is increased from 30 to 35 at P5, an extra 5%. Damage reduction is from 25 to 30%, which is wonderful as well. Health restored is 250 to 280 at P5, and then fear reduction is from 30 to 35. Now, this makes P5 completely worth it. Now, it doesn't help with the cooldown reduction for the ability, but it increases everything that it originally did. So this is a wonderful P5 ability, and this alone makes it worth it. But I'm going to be talking about the builds and stuff and kind of the misconception of his character. Because a lot of people think of him as just like a finishing spammer and kind of just like the meme looter warrior. But we're going to talk about that as well. So we have Shield Blast here, which at P1 is increased to 160 from 125. So that's area effect damage, which is useful, and that's not useful. I play leader and doing finishers with Arthur, and while his ability is active, and leader Ash to proc El Jefe Grande is important, but because of the shield blast, it kind of interrupts that because it damages nearby enemies, either killing the enemy or making the enemy unable to do a finisher. Not to mention that Warrior Ash himself does finishers to restore his shield bar. Now, this helps so that you're not wasting amulets and stuff like that, but I'll talk about this a little bit later as well. So, Weapon Mastery Chainsaw. I think this is a wonderful mastery. It's basically the same as the axe that Scotty has. So, technically, Warrior Ash is just as strong, if stronger, than Scotty. The reason that he's stronger than Scotty, I'm using quotation marks here, is because of Wise Man Potion. His damage is increased at 35% at P5. So technically he's doing more damage with the chainsaw than Scotty is. Now there's ways that you can use the chainsaw that you're actually hitting more enemies than Scotty would with the axe, but a lot of people kind of sleep on this, and I'll explain why further on to the build. So we're going to talk about the build. Most important thing with any warrior is last word. That's the maximum amount of damage you can do with a hit. So you want to be this maxed. Devastating Force important. I went for Balance Bar here. Sing Stars. We want that so we can balance bar the enemy. Blunt Force Trauma is only here because we need it to get to Heavy Hitter. And that's going to be increasing damage on our heavy melee attacks. Now, the chainsaw has horrible hyper armor. The heavies are awful, but I'm going to be talking about a way to use the chainsaw later on in the video that makes it more effective and this more useful. Tougher than hell because we want the survivability. We want fighting shape instead of second wind because the reason is because we're going to be using our potion. So we're always going to be above that 50%. Now you could go here and then just let your health go into the red and then drink a potion, but your support's gonna be hating you if you're just keeping your health really low, and they're gonna try and heal you up all the time. So it's just better to just go for fighting shape. And also another thing is you want to be using amulets anyways, so you can get shield blast going during book phase, and I'll explain that a little bit later as well. So anyways, you're gonna be above like 95% at least. So you want this maxed out. It's 15% free damage. Stunning strikes because we're going to be doing 2 heavies in our attack chain with the chainsaw, and weapon mastery one-handed. Because like I said, we're going to be playing with the chainsaw here. Now, I'm going to be talking about the solo queue Lash build and why people hate playing with Lash players. So because of Shield Blast and finishing strong, mostly what you'll get are people that run a build that is just meant for finishers and survivability, because they think that Warrior Ash is a surviving character, not a, you know, actually let's not go there. So it'll be something like this, and 6 points to play with, but we're not going to do that. So this is like the typical Warrior Ash build. And the reason they have it like this is it's just for survivability, right? Because you're going to get possession spanned by basics. Most demons use basics, so you want to have like Seasoned Survivor basic, so you're taking less damage. You want to be taking less damage from your amulets, right? You want your ability back as possible, so you're taking less damage. And you just want to go for bronze bar and finishers anyways, and you're going to be using lights with the chainsaw, right? So if you're going to be this, your health is going to be above. Like your last point would be put in here at P5. So you put a point in here, and you'll be doing more damage this way. And this is like the typical like solo queue Warrior Ash build, but the problem is this doesn't work. It doesn't work. It works on point, right? Because you'll just be chaining finishers and stuff, and you're not helping your team. As a warrior, you need to be a tank, and you need to be up in front and the face of the possessed unit. And yes, this is going to help you be in the face of the possessed unit, but it's not going to help you kill the unit or boss units. And you're just going to be like chaining finishers in front of the boss and stuff, which is what most Warrior Ashes do. And it's why like demons hate it, because he's just changed, you know, finishers, and then you just get shield back, and then the shield explodes and does damage. But that's not what you want. You want to be doing damage and being a tank for your team. And the way you do that is with the build I originally had. Now, I had a different build where I thought, like, okay, well, maybe I could do something a little bit more convenient with the chainsaw to make it more viable and like be able to use it more. And it was something like this. The reason was like, okay, well, I do 2 light attacks and I do have 2 heavies, so I need to be doing those 2 lights, need to be doing damage. But the problem with this is that when you get possessed, Sting Like a Bee hurts your teammates more than it hurts the enemy. So I didn't think that was a good idea as well. So the reason why I went with this build is just it feels more effective, and I'm getting a lot of damage because of this, the stunning strikes, and then the last word just does so much damage that it just makes it so beneficial. So I'm going to be talking about the attack string as well. But the reason I don't have Reinforced Amulet is because I want Shield Blast. I want to be procced as soon as possible. I want to be doing damage to all the units around me. Warrior Ash is a area of effect character, but he's a direct area of effect character. Not like Scotty, where he could just like attack the possessed unit and be affecting the other units around him. He does a ton of damage to all the units around. The only problem he has is against Necro, really, because of the shields. But on Book, the shield doesn't matter because the unit will be attacking Book. So he can kill a lot of units on Book against Necro. And he has a very high skill ceiling. The problem is people see the ceiling because they just focus on his survivability more than they focus around his damage that he can put out. Because it's so hard to. And I'll show you why here.
So I'm using this gameplay because it shows the potential of like Warrior Ash very well here. And it's against Puppeteer, who Warriors are very good against. But the chainsaw is not very good. And that's due to the explosions interrupting your attacks. So the best way to kind of get as much damage as possible is by doing 3 lights and then a heavy. Because you're going to have a little bit more hyper armor with the light attacks, and then you dodge backwards so that you can gain distance and get that last word off. And thanks to Ruby, I'm getting my stamina a lot better. I do have 3 points into Art for Dodger as well, so that's helping me get the last word as well. The damage numbers aren't consistent, and that's due to the amount of souls Ruby has. The max damage I do have is about 2,400, I believe. And it was during book phase with the Legendary Chainsaw, Blacksmith buff, and Ruby as well. And Potion. So that is a lot of damage, and it's considerably more damage than a Hunter. But the amount of setup that required to hit off that damage, I feel makes it balanced. You're going to see me, Blacksmith drops amulets to me during the book phase as well, and I kind of deny it because I want Blacksmith to use it for me, even though it's more beneficial for me to use it because of Shield Blast. I need to try and kill the units as quickly as possible and destroy the balance bar. So, to be a good Wash player, you can be a good Scotty player as well. Like with Scotty, all you have to do is just do lights, and then once you get the final heavy, you want to be hitting the possess unit. And that's the same way you want to do with Warrior Ash. The only thing is, with Scotty, you can just do continuous heavies, and Warrior Ash, you have to do lights instead. And that's why I originally thought that Sting Like a Bee would be a good perk to invest in. But in reality, it just hurt my teammates more than it hurt the demon. It is hard for demons to use the chainsaw as well, so that's another reason why I like using it as well, because it is very interruptible, but a good demon is going to know how to dodge properly to get the last word off as well with the chainsaw. I was trying to pick up the ammo there. I did not mean to pick up something else. Now, the reason I don't have audio here is because when I was playing here, I'm playing with my friends, and we're just joking around most of the time. Not talking about strategy and stuff. It's that's what makes this game fun and what makes Survivor fun. I mean, it's okay to talk about strategy from now and then, but most of the time, you just want to have fun with your friends here. And I loved that hit there. That's kind of how you want to proc it, and you could just kill tawny units. And if you time it correctly, as you saw there, the possession takes the damage. And he had to do the head rip because he just took too much damage. And he needed to guarantee more damage here. So there I go with Potion here. I got a little too close, so I got knocked back. I did hit boss there. Normally you want to whip your camera around on the last hit so you can get a 360 hit around you. He did get out of my range there, so. And the reason I went with light and then heavy is because he wasn't facing me. So I knew I was going to be able to get that sweep of a hit. And I'm expecting to balance bar increase damage with heavy hits. And that's also another thing the chainsaw does. Sometimes if you dodge too early, you're going to miss your fourth strike. Like it skips the third one. So that's another reason why I wanted to use this. There were so many instances where something would happen, and I will be like, okay, I need to clip this so I can explain how the chainsaw works. And right here is like kind of showing the max amount of distance you can use with the chainsaw. Like, that wasn't even an axe. You could go a little bit further away. And it's such a wide sweep that it's really good. So this is a very good team composition to use with Warrior Ash. And actually just Kelly is good too, because she has the mastery for the Meat Hammer. So it's going to be a ton of damage with melee here from all of us. Thanks to Blacksmith's buff and Ruby buffing us as well. So I'm kind of just messing around here, showing the range. As you see there, I whip my camera a little bit around while facing down. I don't think you have to do that on PC, but on controller, it's a lot easier to get a 360-degree radius hit. To be honest, I think the chainsaw is only good on Warrior Ash. It's not good on Leader Ash. I think you only use the chainsaw on Hunter Ash just for aesthetics. But good Hunter Ashes don't use that. They use like a bounce bar weapon. So in this situation, yeah, I just want to destroy the balance bar. This is why the balance bar is really good with the chainsaw as well, and why you want balance bar on the chainsaw, not just damage. Like, you could change it for survivability and damage with the chainsaw, but to be honest, I think balance bar is more important, because you're going to be able to get your last word hit more often because of the balance bar. Because like when you hit the last word, it's going to balance bar him, so then you're going to wind up for another last word, so there's 2 last words you're hitting on the possessed unit, meaning that you're taking less damage and your team's taking less damage as well. And it is kind of annoying hearing the chainsaw all the time like this, but you just need it for the wind-up, unfortunately. So I was able to get the heavy hit there. Like I said, the second hit is really good, and then we get the final hit word there as well. I think he did a really good job there, focusing Kelly, to be honest. Kelly's going to be doing the most damage towards boss. I've been honestly like enjoying using Warrior Ash a lot, just because of the chainsaw. And I know a lot of Warrior Ashes, good Warrior Ashes, use the axe and prefer it because of the lock-on range, but because you don't have collateral damage, I feel like the chainsaw is better, and you technically do more damage with it. It does the same amount of damage as the axe. The only difference between the axe and the chainsaw is the axe has more range, which means range in melee means lock-on range. It doesn't mean like the size of the sweep, which I thought is what it meant, because in my mind I'm like, why would you need range on a weapon? So like the chainsaw, like I said, has a 3 in range. It doesn't lock on that well. You don't leap with it like you would a axe. For Demon, every point in your skill tree matters, and I do think that's true with Warrior as well. So that extra point that I'm not wasting into putting into one-handed to get to two-handed, so I could use the axe more effectively, I feel a lot better, and I could use it to get my ability back faster 1 into industrial strength and 2 into ability cooldown, which is going to help a lot and be able to make me do a lot more damage. As you see, I did damage there on that basic over there and the possessed unit. And thanks to Ruby, I'm able to dodge a lot more. And as you saw, 1 hit, I was able to clear those 3 units that just came out of that portal. And I was able to clear all those units thanks to the combo. But that is the problem. As you're seeing here, I'm not really getting my last word here because of the explosions from Puppeteer. And as you see, I was already doing the second hit there, but I was knocked out of it, so I was unable to clear out that proxy portal. Not proxy portal, sorry. So I switched to the hand axe here because it is one-handed. And like I said, I am spec for one-handed. But I just wanted to test out the damage here. And as you see here, it's just significantly less damage. It's about 200 less damage, even though it swings faster. And it is a legendary compared to the blue. It's just not worth it. So I immediately switched back to the chainsaw. But I was happy to get the hand axe so I could do testing and kind of show why the chainsaw is better than the hand axe, even at a legendary status. Like, I honestly think, like, if you were to use the hand axe with the Warrior Ash, you need to be spec'd into Sting Like a Bee or any other one-handed weapon besides the chainsaw. So I mostly play Hunter, so I know everybody else is running here, but I prefer to walk so I could actually use my dodges here. As you see, once he's stunned, I'm able to do the heavy second hit and the last word there. And then after this, I think I dropped my sub because I'm like, I don't need it anymore. Like, once we're at the Dark Ones, I don't really have to worry about possessions. Like, yeah, Kelly could just murder us all. But if I'm staying next to Kelly, it'd be more easier to knock her out of possession. So I'm going to wind up behind the door so I'm not taking damage, but he is. So that's 2 last words. And we were able to kill him there. And now that I'm XP, I'm like, okay, yeah, let me just drop it. I don't need it anymore. Because I keep getting possessed anyways. So it's just like, let me not give the demon an opportunity to just pepper my team with damage. So I get really lucky here. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. That's why I'm doing the kick towards Blacksmith. I'm like, thank you. And then I'm gonna like make him run there just to see how much damage I could do there as he's coming out of the portal. So that's the max damage there. The damage is inconsistent, and it's just based on Ruby's, how many souls Ruby has. So as you can see here, I didn't want to waste my stamina. That's why I didn't just run at him and start meleeing on him, because I needed the dodges just in case. You don't normally want to go at last with a heavy, but I just thought it was funny. I love using it. It's such a satisfying attack to hit like multiple units with it. And this kind of just demonstrates how strong the chainsaw is on Warrior Ash. He's going to summon a ton of units. I'm just going to be able to clear it so quickly. As we see here, hit 2 units. And then I hit all those units right there. And then he finally summons boss. I thought he was going to do the electrical attack, and I just wanted this unit dead, so I did a finisher. Now here I waste my stamina here, but I drink potion, so unfortunately he's, like I said, he's focusing Kelly here, so dodge forward so I can get that range, and then I'm able to kill him there. So since I have this legendary chainsaw now, I want to stay away from my team. And if somebody does get possessed with the gun, I'm just going to hide behind the dark ones and just continue to use them as cover. So he sees that he's too far away from my team to use the chainsaw effectively, and it'll just be a waste of time. So I drop everything here, the shems and stuff. And then I just drop my ammo as well. I just have an emergency chip just in case, because we aren't done with the dark ones, so we're just on the second bar. And that's when I get dropped the amulets, but I tell them, no, please keep them. I have 3 amulets on me already, and I'm going to use them during the dark ones. So the demon decides to power possess an elite here. I see a lot of puppeteers actually do this. I don't know why. He's been doing really good with his elites, though. And so he's just running around, wasting our time. Unfortunately, I almost go down here because lightning strike. So luckily, I'm able to get some damage on him because of my low health. It kind of baited him into it. So thanks to the bounce bar being destroyed, we were able to kill that power possessed elite. So there's boss. As you can see, I'm winding up for that last word. And that's the max amount of damage I did. 2,439. That was thanks to Rupee's buff, Blacksmith, and I was able to get last word there as well. Thanks to the wind up. But as you see here, I'm getting kind of destroyed from the explosions, where it's just knocking me back, where Scotty would have a better chance here. And so I go with the heavies here, and I was able to clear a lot of the units as well there. And unfortunately, I missed the timing there. So this is kind of what you want to do. You just kind of want to wind up all the time. And unfortunately, I was unable to get that hit off. And this is kind of the problem with the chainsaw. It's just the knockback. As you see there, once again, I was unable to get the last word there. And this is why people don't like using the chainsaw. It's just because it's so inconsistent. But when you do hit, like there, we were able to do a lot of damage, where we were able to kind of stop him from destroying Book here because of the chainsaw. But I think the only time you have a problem here is with like just the explosions. That's why we kind of want to dodge away from Book and then be on the other side of Book. But that's also where you want hunters to be. So I should not have dodged there. I should have just kept going with my combo and then with the last word. I just wasn't sure he was going to do the radius, or if he was just going to start attacking Book. Because normally as a hunter, what you want to do is back up, and then get the headshot as he's doing the radius. So sometimes it's just good as Puppeteer when you're using Boss to go near the hunter and then hit Book and the hunter at the same time. So yeah, this was the final score here. As you see, yeah, it was a lot of damage. And so I'm going to talk about some